coffee, because that's the saddest thing there is on the that's the saddest thing there is on the whole planet.
And the most pointless product ever.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another Worship Wednesday. We are excited to be here virtually with you this week. We got a little bit tired of all the slime and the ice water. I know Drew and I did. Tyler, all I can say is that it will eventually, your day will come, Tyler. That's all I can say about that.
Hopefully anytime soon.
This week we're starting a little bit more of a tame segment called Get to Know Your Staff. But don't get too relaxed. The question this week that we're gonna be answering for you is, what is our most embarrassing story? You guys, I can't wait for Tyler and Drew to be humiliated. It's gonna be awesome. I am not exempt either. All right, Tyler, you're up first. So what is your most embarrassing story?
So,
That was your most embarrassing story.
that was it. So, I was in high school playing basketball, as most of you guys know, and I was on the JV squad.
JV All-Stars, baby.
Did not make it to the varsity, and this story will prove that point. So, playing JV ball, and we were playing a rival, big game. I made a humongous steal, right?
Atta baby.
Other team was inbounding the ball, made a huge steal.
Get it, Worley.
The only thing is, as soon as I made the steal, I shot the ball
That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, man.
on the wrong goal.
Oh, no.
Yeah, on the wrong goal. So I shot the ball on the wrong goal, and to make things even better and to further make me think it was the right goal, the defender was trying to block me. Okay, so
He was trying to help you.
yes, help me shoot on the wrong goal. Yeah. So, anyways, kept shooting on the wrong goal. I think it was 2 or 3 times, and
You did it multiple times. You got your own rebound?
yes, on rebound, put it back up. I don't know where the rest of actually I do know where the rest of the team was. They were on the opposite end of the floor,
Because you stole it. They took
where I should have been. Anyway, so that's my most embarrassing story. I still can't believe I did it, actually. It
3
was
times.
Super embarrassing.
Do you think about it at least once a week?
More. I dream about it weekly for sure.
Do you think the guy who tried to block your shot would say his most embarrassing story was when he tried to keep somebody from scoring for
On
him?
his goal.
All right, you guys, that was Tyler's most embarrassing story. I cannot wait to hear what Drew has for us next, but let's get started with some worship.
There's a million reasons to trust you, nothing to fear for you are by my side. I'll follow you anywhere. Oh, Jesus came to my rescue, took my place upon that cross. You redeemed what I had lost. Now my whole world revolving around you. You're the center of my life. You're the treasure, you're the prize. All I want is you, Jesus. All I want is you. You are the refuge I run to. You are the fire that leads me through the night. I'll follow you anywhere. There's a million reasons to trust you, nothing to fear for you are by my side. I'll follow you anywhere, follow you anywhere. Oh, I'll follow you anywhere. Oh, wherever you lead me, whatever it costs me. Oh, all I want is you, Jesus. All I want is you. Wherever you lead me, whatever it costs me. Oh, all I want is you, Jesus. All I want is you. Wherever you lead me, whatever it costs me. Oh, all I want is you, Jesus. All I want is you. You are the refuge I run to. You are the fire that leads me through the night. I'll follow you anywhere. There's a million reasons to trust you, nothing to fear for you are by my side. I'll follow you anywhere, follow you anywhere. Oh, I'll follow you anywhere. Oh, I'll follow you anywhere.
Welcome back, you guys. We are continuing with our segment, Get to Know Your Staff. This week we're answering the question, what is your most embarrassing story? And Drew, you're up. Tell us your most embarrassing story.
Okay, well, I had several to try to choose from. Apparently, I am good at humiliating myself. But I think my most embarrassing one, it was a summer after my 8th grade year. I was at a church camp type of thing. And this particular church camp, it was called Super Summer. It was a lot of fun. I was in the red school, meaning I was in the just finished 8th grade group. And it's mostly like crazy team rec stuff all day long. It's really intense. And then you have like small group and devotional and stuff like that. Every day we had small group, and there happened to be in my small group of 8 people this girl that I had a crush on. She was like, I thought she was real cute. So the last day of small groups, Thursday, we were going around a circle. I don't remember what the question was, but everybody was answering. And our small group met outside on the ground. And I have never been a very flexible person physically. My
You took
personality
ballet, didn't you?
is,
Ballet. That's what
man, I can barely bend over and untie a boot. That's how flexible I am not. So sitting on the ground is difficult for someone who is not flexible. Well, you guys
I can
know
agree
that.
with
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
So
me too.
I was doing the thing where like my feet were out in front of me and my hands were back behind me, but after a while, My bottom fell asleep. My rear end went numb and tingly, and that's a scary thought. So I was like, okay, it's time to shift my positions. But I can't really sit cross-legged, and so because that hurts my legs because I'm not flexible. And so I thought, well, I'll get my knees up a little higher and kind of hug them. And I made this transition as it was my turn to talk. And the cute girl, the girl I had a crush on, was directly across from me in a group of 8 people who were sitting fairly close. So she was close and directly across from me. And so as I pulled my knees up and wrapped my arms around them to begin talking, I exerted too much force and passed gas loudly. Skunk aimed directly at the girl I had the crush on.
Blew her hair back.
I know, man, no, it was awful. It's my turn to talk. So I hugged my legs and rocked and went long and loud, and I froze. It's supposed to be my turn to answer the question, so I just sat there.
Oh, you answered it.
I
in
did.
your own way.
Did you guys continue to date and get married? Is her name Callie?
No, I ignored this girl after that. I
don't
did
blame
not
you.
make a move.
Or did she ignore
I did
you?
not make a move. I don't know. I never got close. If I saw her on the rec field, I was like, I'm going the other one. I'm going to hang out with the 6th graders. I could be kind of cool with them. And so I did. I totally avoided her for the rest of the week. And I was like, I'm making new friends. My small group, I got pretty tight with them. I was like, sorry guys, can't look at you ever again. So the rest of the time, I just totally, and it took, it had to have been 30 seconds before my small group leader finally was like, all right, well, I'll answer this, or I've got something to share. He let me just sit there, blank stare for a good 30 seconds after I had the loudest.
Small groups 101. Help your kids out. It's okay, Drew. We've all been betrayed by camp food before in some aspect or in some way. Awesome. Okay, so far, Tyler's story and Drew's story, pretty embarrassing. Pretty gross.
Listen, guys, I know that this is kind of a weird thing to talk about in the middle of worship, but we really do want you to get to know us better, and what better way to get to know us than really exposing our flaws, physical, emotional, mental, whatever they may be. So, and that's part of being community, is we get to know each other a lot more and more. One of the other things that we do as a community of believers is communicate with God more and more. Whether that's through reading His Word, whether that's through literally just sitting and listening, being still and quiet. And sometimes we can express our emotions back to Him, and one great way to do that is through song. So if you don't mind, let's keep on worshiping through song and sing to Him.
All right, we're going to dive into part 2 of our series this week here in just a second. And it's the story of Joseph. And there's so many different things. We were just kind of talking through this, that the story of Joseph only makes sense looking back. And there's going to be moments in our life that will only ever make sense when we finally look back and see what God has done through all of it. Because the circumstances don't really make sense. We don't really understand what's happening. But there's a psalm that is so awesome, and it's Psalms 37. If you're going through a time of uncertainty, which we all have a little bit right now, but even some deeper ones, and it picks up in verse 3, and it says, trust in the Lord and do good, and then the New American Standard says, dwell in the land and cultivate faithfulness. So whatever land that is, whatever you're going through, whatever thing is happening, you might not be in the same place forever, but you will be the same wherever it goes. So if you can learn to be faithful right now, if you can cultivate faithfulness right now in this moment, then that sets you up for the great things that God has for you. And it keeps going. The next verse is, delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you your heart's desires. He will give you more of Himself. He'll reveal Himself more to you than you ever have known before. And that's what we can do. We can say, all right, God, you know what? I don't understand what's going on. But the one thing that I can control right now is my response. And so my response is going to be worship, because you are good, you are faithful, and you are my delight. So if that's you right now, maybe make this your prayer. Let this song be your prayer to God, saying, yes, I will praise you no matter what is happening, no matter what's going on in my life. My response will always, always be worship. same God that never fails will not fail me now. You won't fail me now. In the waiting, the same God that's never late is working all things out. You're working all things out. Oh yes, I will lift you high in the lowest valley. Yes, I will bless your name. Oh yes, I will sing for joy when my heart is heavy all my days. Oh yes, I will. I count on one thing, the same God who never fails will not fail me now. You won't fail me now. And in the waiting, the same God who's never late is working all things out. You're working all things out. Oh yes, I will lift you high in the lowest valley. Yes, I will bless your name. Oh yes, I will sing for joy when my heart is heavy all my days. Oh yes, I will for all my days. Oh yes, I will, and I choose to praise, to glorify the name of all names, that nothing can stand against. And I choose to praise, to glorify the name of all names, that nothing can stand against. And I choose to praise, to glorify the name of all names, that nothing can stand against. And I choose to praise, to glorify the name of all names, that nothing can stand against. Oh yes, I will lift you high in the lowest valley. Yes, I will bless your name. Oh yes, I will sing for joy when my heart is heavy all my days. Oh yes, I will for all my days. Oh yes, I will for all my days. Oh yes, I will.
All right, so as you guys now know or remember, Chloe is not exempt from this whatsoever. So it is her turn. So Chloe, you have front and center.
All right, I'm gonna try and make this as simple as I can, although it was not a simple day. It was a stressful day. I went to lunch with a friend at Northgate, and when I was finishing up eating at Panera Bread, I looked over and saw a homeless man sitting on the curb outside Chili's. It was a really hot summer day, so I decided, since I had a Starbucks gift card, I would go buy him a drink and a cookie at Starbucks. So I go, I wait in line, I even tell the barista, hey, I'm buying this for a homeless man, can you write a nice note on the cup? And she did. So yes, shameless humble brag. So I drive back over to Chili's, and as I'm pulling up, I'm feeling better and better about this decision that I've made to buy this homeless guy a cold drink on a hot afternoon, as well as a chocolate chip cookie. Doesn't sound super refreshing as I'm saying it now, but in my mind, in my comfortable air-conditioned car, I thought it would be nice. So I'm pulling up, rolling down my window, and it's about at that time that I realize his black outfit is actually a matching shirt and pants with an apron. My heart rate quickens. I noticed that the
So
red
dramatic.
emblem on his shirt is in fact a little chili because he is an employee at Chili's, not a homeless man. So, in a quick and smooth action, I pull away without ever giving him the drink. But first, I tell him, hey, I thought you could use this. And then leave. Without ever reconciling the fact that I left.
So you pull the old do-si-do on him.
Oh, sure did.
I got something for you.
Drank the coffee.
You can catch me
Ate
at
the
30
cookie.
miles an hour.
Drank the coffee,
Chilling out.
ate the cookie, called it a day. Here I am 2 years later. I live with the regret of that decision every day. The end. Embarrassment is everywhere, around every
You're the
corner.
most awkward person I know.
I would never contest that fact.
Oh my God.
I would never say that I'm not.
And you drank the coffee.
Drank the coffee shamelessly.
And ate the cookie.
Felt good about it.
No need to go driving around trying to find an actual homeless person.
Tyler, sometimes
Give it to.
sometimes you make a game time decision, you ride it out, and you live your life. Life's a dance you learn as you go.
So we want to hear from you guys. We want you to type in the comments below who had the most embarrassing story, but you can only use emojis. And then at the end of the service, we will announce who we thought had the funniest, most embarrassing story, and they will get the sad sack.
All right, guys, I'm so glad to be back with you, and we're teaching instead of using the videos that we've been using, and we're starting a brand new series. It's called What to Do When You Don't Know What to Do, which is pretty fitting right now, because it seems like every day we're like, well, what should we do? How should we handle today? And I think that this is just going to be a really cool series, and we are going to look at the life of Joseph. It's one of my favorite stories in the Bible. Joseph, he's one of the sons of Jacob. He's actually the favorite son of Jacob. Today we're going to be in Genesis 37 and a little bit in Genesis 39, but I'm going to give you a little backstory as to where we are right now. So Jacob, in the Old Testament, Genesis, Jacob has a lot of sons. He is going to be the father of the 12 tribes of Israel, as a matter of fact, because he has 12. So he has all these sons, and one of the very youngest, he loved more than all of the other ones. The Bible tells us he loved him more than the other sons. He was very special to Jacob because he was born to him in his old age. And so Jacob has Joseph, along with 11 others. And he is Jacob's favorite. And Jacob kind of lets everybody know this. Like, it's not hard to tell. Like, some of you may be thinking, yeah, my parents definitely have a favorite, and it's not me. I joke with my mom about that all the time. I say, Greg, my brother, is definitely the favorite because he got away with so much more than I ever did. It's not actually true. I just try to give my mom a hard time. But it's obvious to all of the other brothers that Joseph is the favorite. And Joseph, in this story, he's about 17 years old. And so Joseph does not make it easier on himself. Jacob doesn't make it easy on Joseph either, because he gives Joseph this coat of many colors, this very special robe, this bright and colorful robe that signifies importance. And the other brothers don't get anything like that. And there's a lot of like symbolism in what clothes people wore back then, just kind of like there is now. So he gives Joseph this coat. The other brothers are like, you gotta be kidding me. He's just rubbing it in our face that he loves Joseph more. So he does this, and then Joseph starts having these dreams. One of his dreams, there's 12 bundles of wheat, and 11 of the bundles stand up and bow down to his bundle of wheat. Which kind of sounds like, yeah, my brothers are gonna bow down to me. And then this kid goes and tells his brothers that, hey, I had this dream that I think it means you guys are gonna bow down to me. And they are not cool with that. And then he has another dream where the sun, the moon, and the 11 stars bow down to him. And he tells his brothers again. And this time his brothers are like, hey, are you telling me that you think that mom and dad and all of us are gonna bow down to you So Joseph is like arrogant. He's coming across as arrogant anyway. And he is rubbing his family the wrong way. And his brothers are just about tired of it. So where we're going to pick up, Joseph has been sent out by his dad to find his brothers. And they have been tending the livestock, the sheep. They've gone off to another field pretty far way away from the house. Jacob's land is a massive, massive area. So Joseph is supposed to go and find his brothers. And we're going to pick up in verse 18 of chapter 37. So when Joseph's brothers saw him coming, they recognized him in the distance. How? Because of that coat. Because of that robe that he wore. They see him coming from a long way off. So as he approached, they made plans to kill him. What? It's crazy. His brothers, he's young. He's a teenager. He is young. So clearly they know, like, he doesn't know any better that he's rubbing us the wrong way, that maybe he'll grow out of it. No, that's not the question. It's this kid has too much power in our family and we don't like it. Let's kill him. And it just jumps right into it. As he approached, they made plans to kill him. Here comes the dreamer, they said. Come on, let's kill him and throw him into one of these cisterns. We can tell our father a wild animal has eaten him. Then we'll see what becomes of his dreams. So he's walking up to them. From a long way off, they see him. They're mocking him. We'll see how these dreams turn out if he's dead. This is wild. But when Reuben heard of their scheme, he came to Joseph's rescue. He's like, nah, let's not kill him, he said. Why should we shed any blood? He said, guys, we don't need to be guilty of murder. Good call, Reuben. Let's just throw him into this empty cistern here in the wilderness. Then he'll die without our laying a hand on him. Okay, so that's going to be like, I don't know, negligence or manslaughter or something. It's not murder, but it's close enough. You're going to get some jail time, son. So Reuben was secretly planning to rescue Joseph and return him to his father. So Reuben, we see a little glimpse here that we're probably going to get into later on in the series, but Reuben has like a little heart of gold moment. He realizes this is getting out of hand. I know we're upset with Joseph, but this is too far. So he's planning on coming back later and rescuing Joseph. But the story goes on. We're going to jump down to verse 32. So they've now grabbed hold of Joseph. They strip his robe off of him and they throw him in this empty cistern. Reuben is planning on coming back later to rescue him. Joseph is stuck in this empty cistern right now. And then the brothers kill a goat. And they put the goat's blood on the robe. And then they sent, in verse 32, they sent the beautiful robe to their father with this message. Look at what we found. Doesn't this robe belong to your son? Their dad knows that they know whose this is, but they're almost like, they're kind of rubbing it in Jacob's face too. Like, hey, your boy's dead. Who's your favorite now? That's a bold move, guys. That is crazy. So of course Jacob recognized it. And he says, it's my son's robe. A wild animal must have killed him. So Jacob now thinks that he's gone. Meanwhile, Joseph is sitting in a pit. He's sitting in this cage. He's sitting, and little spoiler alert, things are going to get worse for Joseph. Things are going to get better sometimes. Things are going to get worse for Joseph. But Joseph has no control over the situation he's in. None at this point. He's just helpless. Sitting there waiting on others to make decisions for him. Sound familiar? He's sitting there waiting on the circumstances to just naturally change on their own. He's just sitting there. And guys, that feels like what we're doing. That feels like how we have been living for the last 10, 11, 12 weeks, all of 2020. Like we're sitting and waiting on other people to make decisions for our lives. We're sitting and waiting on the situation to just work itself out naturally. We're sitting and waiting to have our entire lives changed, maybe forever. We don't know, but we're just sitting and waiting. That could happen. Maybe things go back to normal. None of us actually know what's going to exactly happen, and we're just sitting. Joseph had no clue what to do. No clue what to do. Neither do we. I don't. You don't. But there's something that we can remember. if you jump ahead to chapter 39. Genesis chapter 39, verse 2. The very beginning of verse 2 kind of gives us our answer. The first thing that we can remember, the first thing that we can do, rather, when we don't know what to do. Chapter 39, verse 2. The Lord was with Joseph. The Lord was with Joseph. Verse 2 goes on, but we're going to get into that to another time. But that's what we can do. We can remember that when we don't know what to do, the Lord is with us. The God of the universe is with us. The one who created the heavens and the earth, the one who is in control of all things on this planet, the one who made it, the one who created us, the one who loved us enough to send his own son to die for us, he is with us. And that may not change our situation. That may not change all the things going on around us, but it can change us and how we view the situation. It can change us to give us maybe some patience. It can change us to give us some comfort. That should comfort us. The God of the universe is with us. We may not know what to do, but God, we know you're here. Say that. I want you to pray that. Tonight, tomorrow, sometime, I want you to take a deep breath and pray to God. God, I don't know what to do, but I know you're here. Remind yourself, remind him that you know he is here and that you trust him.
All right, you guys, it's come to the end of our night where we have decided who has the most embarrassing and kind of sad story. They both decided me. I'm not sure why. It was a good thing that I was doing, but I ultimately got the Sad Sack Award for the most embarrassing story. I hope you got to know your staff members a little bit better. And inside the Sad Sack is decaf coffee, because that's the saddest thing there is on the that's the saddest thing there is on the whole planet.
And the most pointless product ever.
Just
Who
like
wants to drink that?
Just like buying a drink for a Chili's employee waiting on his ride.
No,
Pretty
just
pointless.
like telling him you bought a drink and then leaving without giving it to him.
You know what?
And telling the barista what
I
you're
feel
doing.
good because I feel like it gave him a story to tell at parties.
Yeah,
I gave him a gift.
Tyler's Defender. And the girl who's
Or the
probably
girl.
saying, this guy farted and then made eye contact with me for 30 seconds.
I feel like that's such a Michael Scott move.
Oh, man. Okay, so then
Announcements.
Yeah.
You point at
All
me.
right.
before you leave or something, I don't know.
All right, you guys. Last thing before we leave, small groups. High school.
Right after this service, 7:15 on Zoom. Get with your leader. Make sure you have the code to get in.
Middle school.
Is at 10:15 on Sunday. Why do you always laugh whenever I talk, man?
Because you're
morning.
funny.
In the morning.
You're a funny guy, man.
I don't know about that.
You're
Anyway,
hilarious.
10:15. Email me if you need any information for
Yep.
the Zoom small groups. 10:15 on Sunday.
Awesome. Make sure you follow us on social media, Instagram, Facebook. Check out our prayer guide on the website. You guys, watch out for embarrassment. It is around every corner. I hope you have a great week. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Later, guys.